The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Launchpad series. Today is the 5th of November. It's a lovely Tuesday morning in Toronto. The sun's up for a change. That's always welcome. I'm joined here with my colleague Armando Alas. Armando, want to say hello?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Nice to have you join us this Tuesday morning.
We got some UK ICs as well and some Scottish ICs that I see signed up, so the time zones are a little different. Great, excellent. So again, yet another action-packed Launchpad webinar for this week for all of you. There's a lot of information that we're going to be talking about. We'll try and leave more room for questions. One of the feedback that we did receive from the audience was that there's a lot of questions coming in, and they would appreciate a little bit of more time for Q&A at the end of the webinar. A quick sound check, so if everybody can confirm that they can hear us okay. Shout out to Pete. Pete says it's raining. Yeah, we had that last week. It's pretty bad. So just a quick okay on the audio. Excellent. Getting a confirmation from Alan. Terrific. All good. Terrific. Let's start. All right. So as usual, our format for the webinar is we'll start off with the latest news and articles. And so we've encapsulated some good information that was basically pulled from all different industry newsletters, websites, associations, etc. And we've compiled that information for you in our latest news and article section. And then we'll move on to the tool of the week review section. And this week we would be reviewing a tool that's quite powerful, yet in our feedback with the ICs, a lot of the ICs haven't really used it, and it is the Google Ad Preview tool. So we'll actually be talking about it quite extensively, showing you a demo of the tool, how to use it effectively, and more so how to use it for competitive analysis. Because with all of Google's personalization, it gets tough to actually see and gauge the exact position of your competitors or the actual competitors and the ads that they're using either for your PPC campaign or their organic listings. So we'd be reviewing the ad preview tool, and then Armando's got a really exciting case study lined up. This was a client that opted in for an advanced SEO campaign with us and is getting some terrific results. So Armando has that showcased. And then, as I mentioned to you, we'd be leaving a lot of time for questions and answers at the end of the webinar based on your feedback. Great, let's dive in. So the first news that we wanted to cover was Matt Cutts at Pubcon in Vegas. So Pubcon is a conference that takes place annually in Vegas, and I guess in different locations. It took place in Vegas from the 11th to the 16th of October, and Matt Cutts was there. And there's a lot of good information that came out of this seminar. And there's some points that he reiterated that we wanted to communicate to everybody that's important for your information as well as communicating that to your clients. So one of the first things that he said was that Google's trying to get smart, which of course we all know that. So what Matt Cutts is trying to say is that Google wants to get to a level where it's like when you type in a search result in Google, you're having a conversation with another person. And the answers that you're getting back are very intuitive. They're smart answers that you're getting back, or what you would expect back. And the example that he used at Pubcon was if you type in New York Times as opposed to the Times Square, you want to get back related information. And not a very good example according to me, because I mean, even if you type in New York Times and Times Square right now in Google, you get some pretty accurate responses. But his whole premise is that Google wants to start getting into a sort of mode where you're almost having a conversation with somebody else. That's how intuitive, that's how smart they want to make Google. Hence the whole updates, all the updates that have been taking place, and more recently the Hummingbird update that just took place, which is again more geared towards long searches, long search queries, mobile search queries, so that when people are actually speaking on the phone and giving out these queries, accurate results can be pulled out for them. The other thing that he did mention was they did go a little aggressive as far as Panda was concerned. He specifically mentioned Panda. So Matt Cutts acknowledged that the updates, the Panda and the Penguin updates, more specifically Panda is what he talked about, they were pretty aggressive with it. And as a result of which, there's a lot of sites that were penalized that should not have been penalized in the first place. And he admitted that. He said that we're not perfect. There's sites that got caught into this index and this whole algorithm update that was taking place and the Panda update that we did, and it wasn't perfect. There's a lot of sites that got trapped that shouldn't have been as far as this particular Panda update was concerned. And he said that they're going to go softer on Panda. So he didn't really quantify as to what that means, but he did say that they're going to pull back on Panda and they're going to ease up on a lot of the changes that they've done with Panda. So, you know, a little bit of a sign of relief. So that's one of the comments that he made there. Another thing that he talked about was authorship. Now, this comment is particularly interesting because we all know how authorship is increasingly becoming like a core part of like an SEO strategy. You know, set up a blog and then set up the authorship associated with the blog. So with the rise in authorship, he did mention that there's now the challenge of detecting credible authorship as opposed to the authorship that's not as much credible. So it's kind of like link building. So authorship's kind of reaching a stage, he mentioned, where link building was sometime in the past, and then you had Panda and the Penguin updates come in. So it's getting tough to decipher who's a reliable or recognized author that has credibility, as opposed to somebody that's just set up the authorship tag because they want to take benefit of Google's algorithm and just gain from all the benefits that are associated with authorship. So he did mention the fact that they're going to strengthen the algorithm when it comes to gauging how well known of an entity are you, how much of an authority do you have as far as your own authorship profile is concerned, and then they'd be displaying authorship in the results. So he did talk about the fact that the frequent occurrences of authorship that are coming up in the searches right now are going to be reduced by 15% because they want to have genuine authors shine as far as their search results are concerned. So they don't want people coming up that have, you know, let's say, you know, that don't have enough social share. So if you have like, you know, a couple of +1s in Google, you know, it's not going to do much for you with your authorship tag. So he did mention the fact that there's going to be a 15% reduction in the authorship results displays in Google, which is a very interesting comment there. Thin sites don't get rich snippets, and this got a huge, you know, like you could almost hear the audience just, you know, sighing in relief, because this has been a big question mark as to what sites do get these rich snippets. And for those that are not aware of what rich snippets are, rich snippets is any extra piece of information that Google displays below your actual search result when you type it in. So when you type in any search query in Google and then you have your organic result coming up, any additional information that's below your organic result that Google's displaying, whether it's site links, whether it's you know, your event listings, whether it's if you're a restaurant, whether it's your Zagat rating, whether it's any sort of extra information that Google's displaying below your query is essentially called rich snippets. And the SEO industry has been trying to figure out as to how to get rich snippets for their clients, because we all know how valuable real estate is for in Google, and so as to get as much of that real estate as possible for your website or your client's website. So Matt Cutts acknowledged the fact that thin sites do not get rich snippets, and that essentially means that if you have a site that's not got a lot of content, that's not got a lot of pages, then it's not going to be getting the benefit of rich snippets. So that's being accorded to websites that have a lot of content, that have a lot of good content, that essentially are providing a lot of value to their visitors and to the readers. They're the ones that are going to get awarded with the rich snippets profile when it comes to the actual Google search queries. The other thing that he did reiterate, which we all know about, but he did reiterate this, was he mentioned again very categorically, if you have an ad on the top of your page and the ad is the first thing that the visitors look at when they come to your page, change it right away, because we don't like it, and we're going to go after sites that show ads that are ad heavy as far as above their fold positioning is concerned. People don't like that. Visitors don't like that. It's a bad experience, and he mentioned that very categorically. Now, this is again interesting because historically, when you design a website, one of the things, at least for like media-oriented websites, and if you wanted to have a sort of like an advertising revenue stream on your website, one of the basic ads that you'd be putting up in your website would be like a leaderboard banner right at the top. So a 468 by 60 or a 728 by 90 leaderboard banner right in the top of your website. And that's what Matt Cutts is saying. Remove that. Do not have that ad on the top of your page because we don't like it. It's not a very good experience for the visitors. So replace that with either a skyscraper ad on your left-hand side, 120 by 600, or ads at the bottom or ads in the middle part of your page, but do not have ads right on the top of the page. Do not make your page ad heavy. He said that categorically. Once again, we should listen to him because we have seen sites getting penalized that are very top heavy when it comes to ads. And he again expressed that very clearly at Pubcon. Another thing that he mentioned was the infinite scroll on websites. Now, for the ones that have signed on and are familiar with sites like Tumblr and then some blog sites, you can see, I mean, when you go on Tumblr and if you're, let's say, following in an image stream, that thing just goes on forever. So you're just scrolling down and down and down, and then newer and newer images keep getting loaded up on the page, and then you just keep scrolling infinitely on that page. So Matt Cutts talked about the infinite scroll on websites, saying that it's a challenge for Google spiders to index that page because they don't necessarily know where they need to cut off the indexing and how long this page is going to continue for. So that's an issue that he highlighted. So do not have an infinite scroll on the websites. And as a matter of fact, there's a client that came on board with us and that exactly has the same issue, where he's got almost 700 posts. His site's in a sort of a blog format, and he's got about 700 posts, but the challenge is that they're all on one page itself. So he hasn't really categorized them in like different categories or sections, and he has all of the posts essentially on the same page itself. So the scroll just goes on forever, and it's a really, really bad user experience. So he wasn't doing very well in the search engine as far as visitors were concerned. We rearranged that page so that we only had featured blog posts on the home page, and the rest of the posts were classified into different categories. And as soon as we did that, I'd say in about 15 or 17 days, we saw a dramatic lift in his Google organic traffic and his positions going up. That was primarily because Google wasn't ranking him well because of the indexing issues that he was having with this infinite scroll on his homepage. But when we fixed that and we categorized all the articles and the blog posts in their respective categories, defined a proper taxonomy, and then all of a sudden he started ranking well because Google was able to index his site better. So a warning and a note for a lot of you that have clients that have these long scrolling websites and the scroll just goes on forever. Cut that down. It's not a good visitor experience. Change that up. Categorize all the information that's there in this infinite scroll so that it just looks better visually, it's more engaging for the visitors, and most importantly, it's easier for Google to crawl your website. So that's the comments that Matt Cutts has made at Pubcon Vegas. Some interesting comments, especially with regards to authorship and the infinite scroll. Great, moving on. So there's a great article recently that was published about a couple of days back on maximizing sales for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Not sure how many of you have clients that are related to e-commerce and shopping-oriented websites, but if you do have these clients, then I guess, these are make or break days for your clients in this industry, because Black Friday and Cyber Monday are like the biggest internet sales days in the entire year. So there's a good article on maximizing your sales or your client sales for these 2 days, and there's 7 steps that have been highlighted. Now, again, a lot of basic information when it comes to the 7 steps, but again, very relevant. Might be basic. We probably all know a lot of these terms that we're going to be mentioning right now, but it's good to reiterate basic information in certain instances. So the first thing is make sure that you have unique landing pages for deals. We come across so many sites where there's so much of information that's just cluttered in and jammed on like one single page on a website. There's different products, different deals. It's not meshing properly. The deals are all just thrown in Do not have that. Have unique landing pages for deals, especially when you're doing PPC campaigns. If somebody's looking for toys for Christmas, and they're looking for a particular toy for Christmas, and they do in that specific search on Google, then make sure that when they click on your ad, they actually go to that page that's advertising that toy, and you just don't get them to a generic toy category. That's just not a good user experience, and it'll result in a high bounce rate. So make sure that you have unique landing pages for your deals, especially for your PPC campaigns. Make your site mobile friendly. So if you haven't already, we've talked quite extensively in our previous webinars about how mobile's taking over the searches in Google and Bing. So be sure that your client site is mobile friendly. You can either use the responsive web design technology, which is the favored way to go nowadays, because that adjusts to any sort of browser size or screen size for that matter. Or you can actually have a mobile specific version for your client's website. So either route that you choose, just make sure that there is a mobile version for your client's website. Otherwise, the experience for people that are looking for deals on their cellular phones or their mobile devices is not going to be a very pleasant one. The other tip is to check your existing ranks and analyze your competitors. Very basic step, but a lot of us just I guess we're just running around so crazy. When we're looking at a campaign, trying to analyze the campaign, we forget that there is a difference in online competitors and offline competitors. So when you're doing a questionnaire with a client and he talks about his competitors, a lot of the times that's not really who his competitors are. The competitors are totally different, because the client doesn't realize who's beating him on Google or the internet for that matter for related keyword searches to his industry. And it might be a brand that he's not even aware of, because their entire business model is just online sales, and they're capturing the market basically focusing on online sales, because they don't track offline, or they don't do online sales or offline sales at all. So it's very important to analyze competitors from an online perspective. So type in all the related keywords, look at all the competitors that are coming up above the client's website, and just do a sort of just reverse engineer the results. Why are they coming at the top for these keywords? Run them through the Moz Grader tool, check what keywords they're ranking for, utilize SEMrush, and then come up with a strategy to beat them based on the facts that you're seeing. Performing a website audit, I'd say that I can safely say that 60 to 70% of sites that we take on board as clients, either directly or with the ICs, have issues with their websites. And the best way to actually see these issues and gauge these issues is to set up the Google Webmaster Tools console. Once you set up the Google Webmaster Tools console, you'll start noticing a bunch of issues related to the sites. And the most common issues is a tag called the HTML improvements tag in Webmaster Tools, where you would be highlighted duplicate title tags, duplicate meta descriptions, short title tags, and short meta descriptions. That's the first basic thing that you need to go in there and fix as far as your client's website is concerned. So perform that website audit, because in our experience, 70% of the instances when the sites come on board with us have issues related to the websites. Now these issues can vary with regards to duplicate content, with regards to HTML issues, with regards to improper URL structure, but there's definitely issues associated with websites in 70% of the instances. Optimize your site speed. Now this is becoming really important, because it's actually a ranking factor with Google's algorithm. They want to make sure that they have a really good user experience and the pages are loading up really quickly. So make sure that you're checking your site speed on a mobile device. Make sure you're checking your site speed on, you can use iPhone simulators like TestyPhone. There's a lot of speed simulators out there. Google's got paid speed insights that we reviewed last week. So you can utilize Google's paid speed insights to optimize your website speed. And it even gives you recommendations. Another good one is GTmetrix. GTmetrix is another good one that gives you good feedback when it comes to your site speed. Continuously do A/B testing. Again, something very basic we all know about, but we actually don't end up doing it. Let's do A/B testing. Test out a couple of ads. Test out two different offers that you're putting out there. Test out two different shipping options. Free shipping with a little bit of a fee for shipping. See what converts better. Where is that funnel dropping for your visitors that are coming to the website? Where is that drop in that conversion funnel? So these are things that you have to analyze and work on it so as to make it better. So just some tips for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. As I mentioned, a lot of basic information, but sometimes it's good to go back to the basics, be reminded of the basics, and then obviously do them so as to make an impact. Great. And of course, the last tip was the social media strategy with your high margin products. So all the products that you have as far as high margin products are concerned, you want to push them out there, deploy a social media strategy. Facebook's launched retargeting, which essentially means that you can target people that come to your site while they're utilizing Facebook. Huge, I'm sure, for the UK. Facebook's so huge over there. So anybody that's coming to your website, utilize Facebook retargeting so that when they're in their Facebook profiles and they're like posting messages or checking out what's happening in their network, you can target them with ads related to your website's product that they just visited. So incorporate social media strategy with your high margin products so as to increase your profitability. Great. Here's something very interesting that we mentioned we're going to talk about in this webinar. So we all know about the Google not provided data and the fact that they're essentially securing all the searches, so not provided is going to keep going up. They just pulled the plug on this and made that 100% so that every single search that's getting done in Google is not going to be captured as far as the keyword search is concerned in the analytics because they're not simply tracking it. So a big issue, it's kind of become a nightmare. And then, of course, marketers, what they do is whenever there's a problem that's posed to us, we come up with a solution. And this is nothing different. So there is a solution. However, the solution's kind of limited right now. But let me show you what happens here. Let me give you a little demo. So if we go to Google right now, and if I just do a search on Google, you see what's going to happen. So you see on the top, if you're looking on the top of my screen, Google redirects your URL and automatically makes it secure. So I just highlighted the secure version, which is HTTPS. So that's what Google is doing right now. So let me do this search again. If I just go type in google.com, I'm not typing in a secure search right now, and I hit enter, and then you see it automatically redirects me to a secure URL, which essentially means that whatever I type in Google's search bar now is not going to get captured by Google and not going to be reflected in this owner's site analytics. So here's the workaround. What you do is that if you add $nord equals 1, okay, and drop the HTTPS, the URL is going to stick with the non-secure version. So let me give you a demo. So I go $nord equals 1. So I'm going to do this. Okay, and I'm going to remove the HTTPS from the front, and I hit enter. Boom, and yeah, so we have gotten rid of secure. So this article was published in Search Engine Land, I believe, a couple of days back. Smart guy. It was posted by Barry Schwartz, a very renowned marketer in the search industry, and this is great. So now you can type in anything, the toys, shoes, whatever you want to type in, and it's going to be a non-secure search. If you just do a quick search for shoes, boom. And then you see it's still sticking with the non-secure version. You have www.google.com, and then you have a query for shoes, and then all of this information is getting captured in analytics now. Now, there's obviously a benefit and there's a challenge. The benefit is that when you do a search query like this, using this nord equals 1, then you're getting data for all the searches that are taking place. However, the challenge is, how do you get your visitors to do that? Because not everybody is going to be smart enough to type in nord equals 1 when every time they're doing a search in Google. So it's a limited option right now, but it's really good for sites that have a lot of internal searches that are taking place. So let's say that you're talking about a large corporation that has a huge intranet, and they need to decipher information from the internal searches in the company itself to try and understand what their staff is looking for, what their divisions are searching for on their respective websites. This nord equals 1 parameter can actually be deployed at the server level in a network, so that whenever somebody is searching in any internal query in your network, then it's non-secure. So now your internal searches are being captured really accurately, and you're again getting all the intent and the information on what's happening with regards to searches in your division, in your entity, in your network. So this solution can be deployed at the network level, and you can start getting some insightful data. We've given you the link to this article in Search Engine Land, where there's a full there's a detailed information on how to install this on your network if you want to do it at the network level and then capture all this data. So again, hey, something's better than nothing. So they've solved the dilemma for internal searches. When you do nord equals 1, you'll be getting all the information. It's a non-secure search. And now let's wait for when they come up with the other version, which is accessible for everybody. Let's see how long that takes. But this is the first step. So for internal searches, for larger corporations that want to see what's going on and utilize Google's internal search, you can always put this parameter and solve this dilemma. Excellent. Moving on, there was a really interesting eye tracking study that was published in Search Engine Journal, and my apologies, the screenshot's not very clear, but we've given you a link to the actual article, and this shows the power of Google Authorship. So again, it's not very clear, but if you actually see the first result on the left-hand side, the first screenshot, and I'll take my mouse over here. Oops, sorry. So going back. So the first result on the left-hand side is a search that's been done for computers versus tablets. So somebody looking for that information, right? So they get the organic listings, they're getting image listings, listings tagged with images, and then they're getting an authorship listing. Should I buy a laptop or an iPad, or iPad versus desktop? This PC advisor, and that is with the authorship, right? So this individual that's written this article did an eye tracking study to understand the power of Google Authorship. So when you look on the right hand side, these are the authorship results and the eye tracking results for how these results were being visualized. And you can see, like, of course, the organic results at the top are getting some pretty good views, but then you keep going down and then you see that this bright red mark right here where I'm scrolling my mouse over, that's exactly where, so that's the image, so that's doing really well. But then I look on to PC Advisor and I again see a sort of like a red blur over there. It's a little bright, and that's again the authorship tag right there. So it does not matter if you're lower down in the listings, the Google Authorship tag gets the attention of the people. So definitely incorporate that on your website because it catches the attention of the people. Even if you have a corporate website, you can set up a blog portion on the corporate website and then associate the blog with the company's CEO or the company's owner or the company's president. So it doesn't have to necessarily, because I know a lot of the times the authorship is restricted by the fact that, now one entity wants to take ownership. But you can always set up a blog on that website and then give a face to that entity. And you can also set up multiple authors. If there's multiple contributors to a website, you can set up multiple author profiles. A little complicated, but it's doable. And eye tracking studies now prove that it doesn't matter where the authorship result is falling in, whether it's at the bottom of the first page, it's in the middle of the first page, it does get traction. So it's important to incorporate authorship. The full article can be read at that link below, which is Search Engine Journal, the eye tracking study. Excellent. So Google's announced helpouts. Really interesting, latest news, just came out yesterday. So helpouts basically are like Hangouts, but they've monetized this. So I'm gonna show you what this refers to. So these are helpouts by Google. It's really interesting because this means that if you're an individual, you can now take your, or a company, you can take your product and service, and using Google helpouts, you can basically put your service out there for anybody to use. And my suspicion is that they've basically done this to counter sites like Fiverr, freelancer.com that have gained in popularity. So they've started this whole helpouts. And if you know that some of you might know there was Google Answers before, where you could pay somebody to answer questions for you. It's kind of like a similar concept, but they've taken it a notch up. And with regards to these helpouts, there's different categories right now that they've launched. It's still in beta, but they've launched it. So there's art and music, computers and electronics, cooking, education, fashion, fitness, health, home and garden. So let's say I click on computers and electronics. So there you can advertise what your services are. So like Paul Gent, for example, I click on his page. I come here and he's got a banner at the top. He's got a picture that's kind of like his Google Plus profile. General IT and website help tech support. I offer help and training for general IT and applications. A little bit about his bio, and then you can start the help out now, and it advertises the price the fee that this guy is charging, or you can schedule it for later as well. And then there's reviews on how many people have used him, testimonials. So Lorna's given him a couple of testimonials here. And then if you actually click on Start Help Out Now, it utilizes Google's Hangout technology. So if you click on that, it's going to bring you to a pop-up that says select a price for this help out. $28.72 per help out. This help out lasts for 15 minutes, or you can go with the per minute option, which is $2.15, depending on the complexity of your problem, right? So if I select the $28.72, I hit continue, and it just brings me to a login screen. Join the helpouts community, sign up, create a profile. In the profile, Google's going to ask you for your credit card information, and that's how they'll be billing you every time you access somebody for their help. Huge applications for this, because just knowing Google's reach, this thing could just spread like wildfire, and anybody can provide help to anybody else. And here's where, again, the ratings, the reviews, the listings are going to get so important. In art and music, Rob Michael's advertising, learn to play a guitar. Click on that, and there's a free option. I guess he's not even charging, so you just click on Start Help Out Now, and you'll just have to register, and he can help you out. So, and a very interesting move by Google in this space, Helpouts by Google. And now it just remains to be seen as to how the industry takes to it, and how this picks up. And you can also browse all. So there's a lot of people that have already started using it. So it'll be interesting to see how this takes off for Google. Great. Moving on. So Google's solidified their spam information that they're displaying in Google's Webmaster Tools console. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that dreaded message for your sites, your clients' websites, at the bottom of the websites that says, Google has detected malware with your website. Please go ahead and clean it, right? So a message, something similar to that. And that is a dreaded message that you see when you're typing in a result in Google, and then your client site comes up, and then there is malware on that website, and Google's detected it. It gives you that message. It was really frustrating for us as marketers, and even for the clients and prospects, where Google wouldn't necessarily tell them what was wrong with them. So it's almost like sending them on a wild goose chase, saying something's wrong with your website, go fix it. We're not going to tell you what it is, but there's something wrong with your website, which is the reason why it's not getting indexed properly. And then we had to try and figure out as to what the issue was, and then do sort of like a full audit on the website to try and figure out the problem. So now Google's responded to feedback, and in the Google Webmaster Tools console, as opposed to just reporting malware and just simply making a one-line comment saying there's malware detected with your website, there's a securities issues tab that's been set up. So if you click on security issues, now it's starting to give you accurate information on what your malware is, where is it, what the pages are, what the issue is, if it's a code injection, if it's a template injection, if it's a SQL injection, if you've been hacked with spam. It's going to give you a lot of information. It's even going to pinpoint the pages where the issue is. As you can see in the screenshot, last detected, the date when it was last detected is displayed as well. So now you have some more information on going accurately to the source and fixing the issue. So huge thing that Google's done over here for helping us, which is to elaborate on the security issues or the actual malware issue that's being faced with the website by pinpointing the exact issue. So we can go in, take lesser time to fix it. And the best of all, if you look at the bottom of the screen, there is a request a review tab. So when you fix the issues with your website, all you need to do is just check on the box, I have fixed these issues, and just click on request a review. It goes into Google's queue, and then after a certain time frame, which they haven't really specified, but it's pretty quick. They basically give a clean slate to your website, and then when you search for your website in Google, it's no longer displaying the malware message below your site. So there's two very important sets of information. One is the fact that there's the detailed security issues info that Google's now displaying to you in your Webmaster Tools console. So if you don't have it set up for your clients, please do set it up, because that is your direct communication of your website with Google. And then the second important thing is they're also giving you an opportunity to let them know that you fixed the issue, because in the past, again, it was a wild goose chase, resubmit your sitemap, get Google to reindex all your URLs, and then hope and pray that the message is going to disappear from Google's index. Now they've given you a direct way to communicate with them. Just check on the box that says I've fixed these issues, hit on request a review, and you're all set. And Google's going to remove that message coming in, at the bottom of your website in due course. So this again, just in latest information. So I was speaking with, switching gears a little bit, I was speaking with Neil Patel the other day. And Neil Patel, for those of you that are not aware, is a very successful young entrepreneur. He's launched a lot of companies like Quick Sprout and Crazy Egg. And when I was speaking with him, I came to know there's 15 other businesses and websites that he owns that are very high traffic websites. So I was speaking with him. I had a good, nice half-an-hour session with him on the phone, and one of the gold nuggets to come out of that conversation was this website that he told me to utilize. If ever I get in a situation where I have a website that's generating a lot of traffic and I want to sell it. So the website's called Flipping Enterprises. And I'm going to give you a demo here. So this is a website, and this is a whole business in itself, where if your site's getting a lot of traffic, you can just go ahead and sell it out. It works in a traditional, sort of like a business broker format. You can go to a business broker, or you can go to websites like this. And as you can see, here's all the latest listings of websites that are getting sold out there. And this kind of gives you an idea, if you're really in the business of making websites, hitting a certain traffic level and then selling them, you can see what the going rate for some of these websites is. Social media services business, 2-year-old link building services business, content creation business, ad agency. So it kind of gives you an idea of the profit and the revenue potential for any entity that you've created. And it gets a huge vote of confidence from Neil, which is great. So he's apparently utilized this company quite extensively, Flipping Enterprises, and gave a pretty strong testimonial for them. So I just thought I'd share it with you guys, because it's good information. When you click on all the current listings, you can see all the detailed listings of all these websites that are out there for sale, and some businesses as well. But a lot of websites, like well-established, profitable e-commerce business, 100K a year, yearly revenue, net profit, asking price, etc., etc. So it's really cool to take a look at this, and if you're in this space, then gauge the profitability of your business or your website based on what's getting sold out there. Great. All right, so we come to our Tool of the Week section. So as I mentioned to you, this week we're going to be previewing the Google's Ad Preview tool. Now, a very underutilized tool, surprisingly. And we speak with the ICs and we speak with our prospects and our clients, and a lot of the times they do not know about this tool. This tool is really, really good for two instances, and these are two very typical instances that happen all the time. So I'm going to give you a demo of this tool and then talk about these two instances. So the first instance that this tool is really useful is when you're having a discussion with your client about rankings, and the client is not believing the rankings. And that happens a lot as well, because they're like, there's personalization of searches that's taking place. You're telling the client, look, I see you on the first page in the second position. The client's screaming right back saying, no, I don't. I don't see myself there. And that's because there's personalization taking place for him, and he's not seeing the same results as you are, because you probably logged into a Google property, so is he, so you guys are seeing different results on the first page based on Google's personalization. That's happening. So how do you solve that dilemma? The way you solve that dilemma is utilizing the Ad Preview tool. So if you want to check a position for a particular keyword, all you do is you go to the ad preview tool, which is this URL right here, and then you type in any search query. So let's say I type in landscaping New York. I'm going to do a UK query as well after this. So I go in landscaping New York, and it gives me the opportunity to go into any Google property. So you can see that this is an international tool. It's there's probably 150 different domains that are listed over here. That's probably all the countries that we have in the planet, and it's applicable for every single country. So what I'm going to do here is, this is a New York search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to google.com. So I'll choose google.com. I'll choose a language as English, and then it also allows me to choose a location. So let's say my location is in Brooklyn, New York. So it brings up Brooklyn, New York here. It's very intuitive. The auto suggest kicks in, and then I type in Brooklyn, New York, and then it also allows me to choose my search in desktop or laptop computer, a mobile device, or a tablet with full browser like an iPad. So I want to compare the desktop and the tablet results for this particular search and see if it's similar or not, right? So I click on preview, and this gives you non-personalized queries for the keyword landscaping New York. This is for desktop. So these are all the PPC results. These are people that are actually bidding on the keyword. Here's all the organic results. House is number 1, Topaz, landscape, Yelp, and then you have the 7-pack with the local listings, and then you got NYS, NLA, Land of Elite, Thumbtack, NYC, the government perks website, etc., etc. So these are the results that are coming up. Now you want to compare this to a tablet with full browser. So you click on that. You can even choose operating systems here. So you can choose your operating system as either Apple, BlackBerry, Android, and then you can even choose your carrier. So let's say I actually want to look at a tablet result. Let's say it's Apple, and then the connection is with, let's say, with Verizon, right? And I want to see what the result is. So I hit preview again, and now it's going to preview all these results for me. So as you can see, here's what you're seeing over here, right? So you see House, Topaz, so very similar results, Yelp, and then you have the 7-pack here, your local listings, going down, NYSLA, Land of Elite. So as you can see, there's not a lot of difference in the searches, but with some of the searches, there can be a lot of difference. So that's what you have to keep in mind. So so this is just one search that I've done as far as the power of the ad preview tool is concerned. Now let's do another search in the UK, right? So let's say I search for the same keyword, landscaping, and google.co.uk. So I go to google.co.uk, language is English, and let's say I'm in London, and London, UK. So I select London, UK, and then I want to see a desktop search for this particular search result, and I hit preview. And if I now scroll down, it's populating all the results. There you go. So I'm actually going to now start seeing results for google.co.uk, all of the organic results that are coming up over here, all accurate results with the 7-pack. There's images that are coming up for landscapes. So this is a great tool to accurately determine your client's position. And the second benefit that I mentioned, there was 2 really key benefits, right? So the second benefit is to actually understand who your real competitors are. Because a lot of the times when, let's say, a marketer that's doing your marketing is not in the same city, and that happens quite often, if they're not in the same city, they're not really able to see who's competing, especially when it comes to like PPC results. So you're not really able to see PPC results because the campaigns that you're targeted. So you're not really seeing PPC results because you're not in the same city, and the company that had set up that PPC campaign geo-targeted so that only people that are logging in from that particular IP, that area code, can essentially see a result. So you're not able to see the PPC results. So this is a great way to actually analyze your competitors and see who's advertising, who's bidding on your keyword. So over here I see Fuller Landscapes, I see Campability, I see West Essex Landscapes, I see HC Landscapes, Holderscaping.co.uk. So you can accurately assess who your competitors are using the ad preview tool that might otherwise remain hidden, and you might not be aware of who your competitors are. And the beauty with the ad preview tool is that you can look at desktop, you can look at tablet, you can look at mobile, and you can look at the level of service by the browsers. Let's do another quick search here. So let's say I want to actually go tablet. Again, you have all the different choices, and then there's T-Mobile, Vodafone, O2, Orange, 3, or Wi-Fi traffic, right? The service providers in the UK, and then you can again choose your carrier and then look at the result that's being brought up. So very, very cool tool, very cool feature, and you know, a lot of the prospects, ICs, clients are not aware of this tool. So I heavily recommend you to utilize this tool quite aggressively because it is very powerful and gives you accurate results. Excellent. Great, moving on. I'll pass the mic over to Armando. He's got a really exciting case study, as I mentioned, so I'll let Armando take over and talk about this case study. Over to you, Armando.
Yeah, thank you, Anish. Well, this week we wanted to take a look at a case study, a global support and consulting company called Spinnaker Support. They focus on SAP, JD Edwards, support, maintenance, upgrades, etc. And obviously, as you know, SAP are CRM, ERP solutions. So it's a very competitive industry. And this company is based in the U.S., okay, and when we started working with this campaign about 4 months ago, the client wanted to achieve a national presence. So we had to, you know, due to the competitiveness of the industry, we developed a custom SEO strategy, and it was beyond the local and foundational programs that we have. The way we did this was very specific to 10 keywords. Now we could have gone and started working for you know, optimizing the site and having an SEO strategy for 20 keywords or 25 or 30, but specifically due to the nature, after reviewing the competitiveness and also the traffic that could be generated by the keywords, we decided to target a specific 10 keywords, and then from there we will continue to expand as the campaign grows. Okay. Now another thing that we did was reviewing, you know, doing our SEO research. We also looked at the client's PPC campaign, because they do run parallel and AdWords campaign. I think of about $1,500 to $2,000 a month, around there. And we actually looked at that data, and we came up with primary and secondary keywords. Now we were competing with some, you know, very competitive keywords, SAP support, JD Edwards. I mean, these are brand names that we were trying to optimize for the attempted to optimize for the client in the beginning. And basically we couldn't just start doing the campaign right away. We focused on 5 primary keywords, and then we developed a secondary list of another 5 keywords where we could slowly expand. And some of those secondary keywords were also recommended by the client, who, you know, was managing or is managing the PPC campaigns. How did we do it? Apart from that, we did some optimized content writing throughout the website, optimizing specific pages. And the website had been already in existence, a very well-designed website, but it's a lot of content on the website. And our goal was to really put on the right meta content to the pages and tie it to the on-site pages. So we did a lot of on-site SEO work. From an off-site perspective, the client usually, because they are in a very fast-moving industry in ERP and CRM systems, they always have new products, new solutions, new services, and pretty much every month they produce about 4 to 5 at times press releases. So what we did was we worked with the client, and we optimized their PR pieces. We also distribute them in our own network, as well as collaborate with their network. And we started developing content on that site and getting also strategic link building. Okay, so this was about 4 months ago that we would be working with the client. Now Vinish can just help me go to the next slide. I just wanted to share the results so far in the past 4 months. Out of the 10 keywords, I wasn't able to bring the graph where we started, but some of those keywords were non-existent or were in the top 30, 50 placements in Google. And out of those 10 keywords, 2 of those keywords, specifically SAP maintenance, which is a very competitive keyword, we are now, I believe, in 7 spot nationally. So this is not a geo-targeted campaign. This is at a national level. And we also have been, I think, number 3 or number 5 in third-party maintenance providers. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this is that because of the SEO work that we've done for the past 4 months, and many ICs already know this, whatever you are doing with specific keywords, it can trickle into secondary or third-level keywords. And we've been seeing where in the beginning the client has a competitor called Rimini software, and they kept coming up everywhere, number one, for various different keywords. And because of the work that we've done in these 10 specific keywords, we are now actually competing with the client, one of the client's top competitors, and in some cases actually outranking them in very good tertiary keyword results. So we only are focusing on 10, right? But it gives it spills, the SEO has spilled over to other keywords that we're working with. The results organically, search traffic has increased to 32% when we started working with them. The overall search traffic, which is made up of all organic searches, Google, Bing, Yahoo, AOL, etc. They were at 2,483 visits. Now they are at 3,270 visits. Okay, their Google organic, specifically their Google organic traffic, has increased by 33%, and their overall visits, now looking at a whole, top-level view, has increased 19%. Now, the reason I wanted to share this specific stat with you was because, as I mentioned in the previous slide, the client was also running in parallel PPC campaigns, and we've noticed that the client has pulled back on the budget and is result.